Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to Vlogmas Day 22. So we're coming down to the nail biting end of Vlogmas, and today is going to be another Cloak and Dagger mini review. So I didn't read too many books this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go through the ones that I have read and go through the ones that I'm still currently reading. I think that's going to take me to Christmas, but I still have a few that are on my satellite TBR that I definitely want to get off the list. So I can possibly move on with some fantastic series next year in Vlogmas. So starting off, what I finished first was Rhys Bowen's Airs and Graces, and the ending was a surprise. I didn't quite see that coming. I kind of guessed the possible area, so it's kind of like the right group of people, but it wasn't the right motive or how they died. So I thought that was really good. The character of Georgie, once again, she had really great character development, and that was my problem with some of the earlier books. It just felt like the first book was repeating itself over and over and over. But what I really loved about this one was that it had really great development. She was focusing more on investigation rather than romance, and her romance was quite stable but also still a bit saucy, because Darcy is a very saucy character. But yeah, otherwise it was a really good book for character development wise. The writing was really good. It was nice to have it as a bit of a house mystery, and you had multiple characters becoming involved. But yeah, it was a really good book. I don't think it was quite as good as the Christmas one, the book before. That was a really intense plot, but this one was still a very good follow-on. So I would definitely look forward to reading the rest of the series. The other one I finished that I got heavily involved in because it was so good, and that is Sulari Gentile's A Decline in Profits. This was for my the challenge where you had to read somewhere that you don't, or set in a location you don't normally read, and the murders happened in international waters on a cruise ship. So that was my little caveat to get away with that. But it was really fascinating. There was multiple murders happening, and it's because he's a society, he's not a policeman. He's a wealthier Australian man who is more involved in the artist society, and his friendship group is so strong. It's really beautiful to see that really beautiful strong friendship. But it's just, he's still not a detective, and I'm glad that they carry it that way. He's interested and he's curious to find out what happens, but he's not going all gung-ho and investigating things. He definitely asks around to try and understand what happened. But yeah, no, it was really good, really good fun, and it just once again gives you this fantastic insight into just what was going on in the 1930s. Like, when we look back at the flapper period and like some of the silent movies and things like that, but we don't really kind of encompass all the devastation after the First World War. There's all the seances and all these really different aspects of society that were just being challenged and pushing the norm, and how that gave rise to many of the quite strict fascist groups, nationalist groups at the time, and how that was coming through to really destroy this kind of burgeoning idea of democracy in the early 1920s. And so they're just so good. So this one, instead of focusing primarily on Australian politics, it focused on different religious groups around the world that were popping up, and they were kind of claiming different prophets, or they were claiming different religious ideals of life. So it was really fascinating. So once again, Sulari Gentile, she's witty, she's sharp, she's clever, fantastic history background. She actually starts the start of each chapter with like a snippet from a magazine or a newspaper published during the year that Roland Sinclair is around, and it just gives it so much context and gravitas as such. So once again, a fantastic series. I've already scouted out the third one. I definitely want to read that one too. I think I'm going to read them a bit closer together though, because I had to kind of squint back and try and remember which characters were which, but they're very good. It's not something that you have to read one after the other. I felt very much connected with the characters quite quickly. So I highly recommend this one. If you haven't got a hand on this series, please do. I'm enjoying it so much, and from what I tell, this one starts in like the 1930s, and then also it goes into like 1932 by this point. And I think book 9 has just come out, and they're in 1935, 1936. And of course, being wealthy and being Australian, they're traveling quite a lot. So yeah, so I did definitely recommend this series. It's been absolutely fabulous so far. Next are two books that I am partway through. First off is The Group Read The Trembling Hills. I didn't really get much done on that because I just got sucked into Sulari Gentile's book. So I'm going to finish off Phyllis Whitney's this week in the last few days before Christmas. The other one is my Japanese translated fiction, The Master Key. I'm probably like a fair few chapters into this one. What I'm really enjoying about this one is it's very different. It's like little snippets from different points of view, but like each one leaves like you hanging and you don't know what to expect, and it just reveals this tiny snippet of information about a character you've already made an assumption on, and then you had to, you know, rip that apart and start afresh. And so you never know who to trust. You never know culturally if they're doing that out of, you know, spite, you know, if there's any level of significance in different cultural aspects. So it's really fascinating. It starts in 1951 and it's just, oh my god, it's so good so far, but it kind of like bends your brain and how freaky it is. But this one also is being really good as well, but this one's keeping me on the edge of my seat. I can't read too much at a time because I freak myself out. But they're the two that I'm currently reading. I hope to finish this week. In regards to my satellite reads, I've had lots of people recommend A Curious Beginning, Diana Rayborn. I will definitely pick that one up. I will hopefully read it by the end of the year if I don't get to read it during the Vlogmas period, because so many people are sending me love for that book, so I have to find out the hype. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time, or tomorrow I should say. Bye!